It's the viral sensation that's sweeping the globe, but is it overhyped? So hello and welcome. We are doing a book review today of the viral sensation being Knight The Moth by Rachel Gillig. Now this book is everywhere. It is in every single book box. I haven't seen the Lumacrate do a version, but the Fairy Loot one was ridiculous and the prices it's going for is ridiculous. This is the Waterstone Special Edition, and yes, I did have both because you will have seen, I hope, my unboxing video of the Fairy Loot May box, which includes the Knight The Moth. I'll put the video up here and down below if you want to check that out afterwards. But the reason I am not holding the Fairy Loot book up is because I sold it and kept the Waterstones one because I like it a hell of a lot better. I just prefer this cover and the sprayed edges, which is a rarity. Now this review, although it isn't an ARC read, people were crying and having tantrums over on threads because they didn't get an ARC. It's going to be a spoiler-free book review simply because, like I said, it is viral, it is everywhere, and not everybody will have had a chance to read it yet. But you're gonna get what I feel about it. I can't subtitle my face. So, before we do anything else, let's get into the blurb. From TikTok sensation and New York Times best-selling author Rachel Gillig comes a gothic mist-cloaked tale of a young prophetess who is forced on an impossible quest with the one knight whose future she cannot see. Sybil Delling has spent 9 years dreaming of having no dreams at all. Like the other foundling girls who traded a decade of service for a home in the great cathedral, Sybil is a diviner. In her dreams she receives visions from 6 unearthly figures known as omens. From them she can predict terrible things before they occur, and lords and common folk alike travel across the kingdom of Trom's windswept moors to learn their futures by her dreams. Just as she and her sister diviners near the end of their service, a mysterious knight arrives at the cathedral. Rude, heretical and devilishly handsome, the knight Roderick has no respect for Sybil's visions. But when Sybil's fellow diviners begin to vanish one by one, she has no choice but to seek his help in finding them. For the world outside the cathedral's cloister is wrought with peril. Only the gods have the answers she is seeking, and as much as she'd rather avoid Roderick's dark eyes and sharp tongue, only a heretic can defeat a god. Sounds intriguing, right? And it is! It is very intriguing from that blurb. Now, like I said, I sold my Fairy Loot copy because this is what the Fairy Loot copy looks like. And compared to this one, I just felt that this was a little bit pastel, a little bit fluffy, a little bit cosy, and having read the book, I actually read this book, I didn't read the Fairy Loot one because I read it before it came. Go me. I much prefer this grittier cover than the fluffy pink pastels. I don't think it goes with the story. This video is going to be all my opinion. Come for me in the comments if you don't agree. I don't really care. Everybody's opinion is going to be different, and people are going feral. And I mean feral for this book. Now I'm going to get it out of the way now, so that if you love this book and adore it and worship it to the heavens, this is not going to be the video for you. Because like I said, I had both copies, and the only reason I would keep 2 copies of the same book, unless it's King, but he doesn't count, is if it's 5 stars. This is not 5 stars. It got 2. So if you have come to this video thinking I am going to praise this book to the skies, you are going to be severely disappointed. Because the first question I said in this video right before the intro was, Is this book overhyped? Yeah, it is. Astoundingly so. So, like they've said in the blurb, our main character is a diviner called Sybil Delling. The cathedral, her sister diviners, I think there's about 6 of them, and the gargoyles, the omens are all she has ever known because she can't remember her life before the cathedral. And she believes wholeheartedly in the religion, and she believes wholeheartedly in what she's doing to these visions that she has. And they're disturbing, to say the least. But she believes in them. She has the faith. And she strives to be the most perfect diviner she can be. She puts herself through torture to be the best, the most perfect, the most faithful in this cult. Because as she sees it, her specialness, her ability to have these visions and the omens speaking to her is how she sees herself. To her, it defines exactly who she is and her place in the world. It is her whole identity. This is who she is. She is the best diviner of the omens in this cathedral. And she is. Like I said in the blurb, when the diviners start going missing night after night, no trace, no noise, no nothing, completely silent, she just wakes up in the morning and one of them is gone. It's only then that she starts to question her situation. And she is more than happy to start breaking the rules in order to find answers and to find where her sister diviners have all gone. Not that they know her by the name Sybil, they all talk about each other in numbers. She is number 6. It's like The Prisoner, like the start of that Iron Maiden song. But she is number 6. Now, Roderick is our male main character. We don't get his point of view, we only have Sybil's point of view, but it's not that bad. And he is rude, heretical, and a complete atheist. And he is an anomaly by this because this is set in a kind of a medieval world where religion is overlord. It is king. It is everything. It defines these little villages that are about. They all worship one of the omens, and that's how they get their career path. And there is a king, but we'll get to it. And he is a complete heretical atheist through and through. And he is downright rude. He is very sceptical of Sybil's powers, even though he has seen it firsthand. He was there in the cathedral when she has a vision at the request of the king. The whole reason why they're there in the first place. And he treats it as more of a performance than religious fervour, even though he was there and saw it before he walked out. Now, the one thing that Roderick is loyal and is believing in is the young king that he is one of the main knights of, one of the main protectors, and that is King Benji. He's about 17, and he has gone to the cathedral to have a vision of his future. And that's where Sybil performs this ritual and gets drowned for her efforts, because that is how the omens come to them, and to have these visions they have to drown first. And that writing is very graphic. And the whole drowning scene with Sybil and how she does her visions, it's very graphic, it's very good, it's very visual. But to Benji, Roderick acts as if he's an older brother, which threw up a few things which were confirmed a lot later down the line. And that isn't a spoiler, he's not his brother. But it did, that whole dynamic was a bit obvious what was going to happen later. But we'll get there. But yeah, he's alright, and he's fine, I guess. Now, like I said, this book is a viral sensation, and it is still a viral sensation. And yes, it's overhyped. In my opinion, way overhyped for what it is. I haven't had the best results reading these books that are deemed viral sensations. If you've seen my review of Blood of Hercules by Jasmine Mass, although I liked that book, the ending made me angry, and that review turned into a bit of a rant. This is not going to be a bit of a rant, because my expectations weren't that high going in, and they didn't change. And BookTok recommended books are just... I am on BookTok. Do I post often? No. Should I? Probably. But the BookTok books, yeah, most of them are a bit of a bit pish. And most of the books I've read, especially this year and last year, that have been deemed viral sensations, I've either DNF'd them, or I've hate read them, or they haven't really been above 3 stars. So things like Blood of Hercules, that was going to be a 5, but then was a 2. Bat Eater, that I DNF'd and then sold. Lady Macbeth, that I DNF'd and then sold. You can find my reviews of those linked down below. And then this one, that I did read. I did sell the Fairy Loot copy, kept this one, simply because it's the first in a series and I like the cover, I like the edges, and I want to see where it goes next, kind of. Because, unfortunately, The Knight and the Moth is yet another overhyped, complete disappointment. Now, that isn't to say that it is absolutely god-awful and nobody should read it and it's absolutely terrible, because it's not. It's just... that's all it is. It's meh. It wasn't fantastic, but it wasn't terrible either. Now, like I said, Sybil is our main character, she is our only point of view, and the main male character is Roderick. And you can tell that these are going to be our love interests, because this is romantasy. Gothic, dark, medieval romantasy. But romantasy nonetheless. And the chemistry between Sybil and Roderick is non-existent. It's just not there. Now, don't get me wrong, they do have some flirtatious banter. And at the beginning, when they first meet, it is quite flirtatious. She drinks a bit and then blows chunks on his shoes. The ultimate night out meeting. But yeah, she throws up on his boots and he is horrified. She is mortified, but knows that she'll never see him again, so she doesn't really care. The flirtatious bit, you know, the little back and forth that they have, it is quite funny. But when it tries to go deeper than just sort of peripheral flirting, it just doesn't quite hit. And it escalated between them. There was no chemistry, and it just escalated way too quickly. Way too quickly. With no build-up, it's just boom and it's there. And it's like, well, really? There's just no depth to their relationship. What kind of relationship it is. It tries to be something it isn't, and it doesn't hit on any level at all. Now this markets itself... Did it even say? Did it say? It did not. But it markets itself as enemies to lovers, as most romanticists do at the minute. Which is getting to be quite an annoyance, because it seems that most authors these days of romantasy don't actually know the definition of enemies to lovers. Enemies to lovers is just that. Enemies. Not strangers. Enemies. People that want to kill each other. People that probably have killed each other and somebody's come back to life. People that just hate each other, and that is it. These two haven't met before we meet them. They are complete strangers. They don't know anything about each other. They don't hate each other. They just don't know each other. And that is not enemies to lovers, that is strangers to lovers, or a normal relationship. It annoys me. It annoys me every time I read one that says it's enemies to lovers and it's actually strangers. It annoys me just that little bit more. Now we get on to another annoyance, because, I mean, while I'm annoyed, I might as well go for the whole thing. Sybil, as a character, has the most plot armour I have read, at least in a few months, because the plot armour on her is ridiculous. So ridiculous. It's unbelievable. She is a young diviner. She's, what, about 90, I want to say 19. She might be in her early 20s. Or her late teens, I can't remember. And, like I said earlier, the cathedral is all she has ever known. It's all she's been, it's all she can remember. That, and they are very, very sheltered. Very, very sheltered. They don't go outside the cathedral boundaries. Especially Sybil doesn't, because she's trying to be the most perfect diviner, so she doesn't break any of the rules. The others do, she doesn't. So with that, she has never left the cathedral, has no experience in the outside world at all. So how is this character able to go up against not one, not two, not three, but 6 gods, powerful beings, and she goes up against them with no training. She doesn't have a plan, and she's unscathed. She's fine. That might be a spoiler, but it's the first in a series, so she's going to come out on top. Now, I'm not saying that everybody else does, but she does. With no training, no plan, just unbreakable plot armour, so much so there are no stakes with her. Because it's like, what? And these interactions she has with the different omens, the gods of this universe, it's just over like that. It's over too quickly. You market it as being gritty, then make it gritty. Make the stakes really, really high. When I'm reading it, I don't know. I want to be in a position where I don't know whether she's going to make it out alive. I got that with this Monster of Mine, which is another Fairy Loot book, the previous month's Fairy Loot book. With this, I got a few paragraphs of battles, and then she's fine. There's not a scratch on her, not a bruise to be found. Come on now, she is human. There's nothing special about her at all. She's not magical. She's just able to have these visions because of the water, and the plot armour is just too thick. Give me some stakes. That's what I want. Now, the ending. I'm not going to go too much into the ending because I said there would be no spoilers. The ending, it was... And I'm not talking about the gods, I'm talking about the ending, where I've seen reactions on TikTok where people were gasping and, oh my god, I didn't see it coming. Really? Really? Is this the first book you've ever read? Because that ending was predictable and you could see it coming from the beginning. Because the little sort of sprinkles of something not quite right in some of this were there. And they weren't hidden. Like I said, this is my opinion. Come for me if you like. I don't care. But it wasn't hidden. It was there, and it was not blatant, but it wasn't exactly subtle either. And it wasn't really surprising. Which led me to be extremely frustrated with the majority of characters in this. Because how could you not see it coming? Sybil has kind of an excuse because the cathedral and everything in there is all she has ever known. Roderick, Maeve, and some of the other ones. What's your excuse? Especially Maeve. Because she's been through what happened at the ending before. How could she not see the signs? And if she saw the signs, how could she not stop it? Because she could have done. And seriously, really? It just led me to think that all the characters in this are borderline stupid, and I ended the book being on Benji's side because what the fuck? It was predictable, and I don't understand why people are gasping at it. Because even if you didn't catch it, like, at the beginning, sprinkled throughout, when it's getting near the end, it becomes a lot more blatant where this is going. How could you not? The gasping... Really? I mean, you're probably just overdoing it for social media. But seriously? There is only one decent character in the entirety of this book, and it isn't Sybil, and it isn't Roderick. It is the gargoyle, Sybil's protector. And he is woefully treated by Sybil all the way through this. She is an arrogant arse to him. And you end up feeling quite sorry for him because he is cute, and he is funny, and he is helpful. And if Sybil had actually got her head out of her own arse, or off Roderick's everything, and just listened to the story that the gargoyle has multiple attempts to try to tell her, to communicate with her, it would have saved so many stupid bloody decisions. And it's not like she doesn't have time to listen. She just feels that the gargoyles are kind of beneath her and nothing they say would really have any impact on her. It makes me want to throw this book at her. Just whack her around the head a bit. Because Sybil and Roderick have no character growth. No character growth at all. They are stubborn, one-dimensional characters who both have so much plot armour, it is ridiculous. And I know it's a romantasy, I know it's just fiction, but give me some stakes. You're going to call it gritty and gothic. Buck up them stakes a bit, make it gritty. Because this is cosy. This is cosy romantasy in a medieval world. It's not gritty. And the only thing gothic about it is the cathedral. And we don't spend enough time there. And like I said, by the end, by the last page, when I closed it down, I was fully on Benji's side because you're surrounded by idiots. I'm all for Benji clearing his kingdom of this religious cult. Generations of his family have done research into the omens and this religious fervour that's over the kingdom. And I think it was his grandfather that tried to wipe it out before, and that went awry. And like I said, what happens at the end is so predictable. The fact that the main character is still so blinkered by the end of this as she was at the beginning. It's her. What happens? Now, I don't agree with what happens, but I see where it comes from, and she should have seen it coming. She's a diviner, what happened to her visions. And it's the fact that all of these characters, Sybil, Roderick, Maeve, Benji, they're all put across as being extremely intelligent and worldly. Where in actuality they are fairly short-sighted and more than a little bit stupid. Because how did none of them catch on to when I caught on at the beginning? That when you have a religious cult-like following for these omens, and in your kingdom you want to get rid of that, it's so ingrained in how the kingdom operates and how people think and what people believe in, and they worship and they pay all this money for all these omens. If you strip that all away, It's gonna leave a void. How did none of them catch on to that fact? Because that is not, it's not so outside the realms of knowledge, of thinking. If you take something away, then something is gonna fill that void, and more than likely, if you don't plan for it, it ain't gonna be good. How could I root for these stupid characters? I couldn't. And that's why it gets 2 stars. Now, I said this is the first book in a series, and it is. The next book, I think, is going to be out next year. Am I going to read it? If I have nothing better on, probably. But really, if I do read it, I'd want a bit more intelligence from the characters, to be honest. Because I'm not getting it. So yes, there is a lot of hype, and I am probably going to get a bit of hate for this video. I am fully expecting it, because people are adoring, and I mean adoring, this book. And I just didn't like it. It just, no. So yeah, if you have read this, let me know your thoughts down below. If you like it, if you don't like it, just let me know. Let me know what you did like about it. And as always, keep reading.
The moonlight's soft embrace, dark star sips with calm and grace. Wine flows like whispers, secrets told, in the night where dreams unfold. Lonely shadows dance with glee, eyes of amber, soul set free.